who it is, you already know what it is. It's the Outlier B, and we right back about you cats with another video. And today, we got an action-packed and live episode for you. I am going to be giving you guys how I feel about that John Benet Ramsey case. It may not be satisfying for us because as humans, we like to know finite answers. But fortunately, I do not believe as of yet this case has any finite answers. So we just gonna have to deal with it. We also gonna get into that documentary that I briefly mentioned last week. And it made me look at one of the John Benet Ramsey documentaries that I saw on Netflix. And I looked at it as the director. What was the director attempting to do? What is the director's history? How does the director and the producers and all the people who made the film, how do they feel in general? Because that can tell you a lot about the evidence that they will present to you. Then we're going to get into the philosophy of science. If I can, that most likely is going to be chopped off. And I just got an introduction for you guys today because I did read my book that I have on philosophy of science, but I have to go back into it to sharpen up some of my ideas so that we could come here and speak about it with the people. And you guys know the structure of these podcasts. We always speak about that 10%. So we talk about the health. We speak a little bit about work, and then we get into those beautiful topics in which I mentioned earlier. So, again, the scent of the day is Enigma by Roja Perfumes. Now, I told you guys where I get all of my fragrances from. I get them from Scentbox. And unfortunately, I'm out, man. I am out. They send you a travel size, which is supposed to be a month's supply. I get 3 of these premium fragrances every single month from the subscription service. They have niche fragrances, and they also have the brands that everyone knows. And I'm a niche guy. I like niche fragrances because chances are not too many people are going to be walking around with the same fragrance that you have when you wear a niche fragrance. And I mentioned to you guys yesterday that this is an artwork and that these senses and these fragrances are up for interpretation. So I ran out, man. I only had 2 sprays left. I put the 2 sprays on today, and I've been wearing it for the last 3 days. But prior to this time, I did have it for some time, hence the reason why the travel size is going. And I could give you guys some of the way I think about it. And again, this is a niche fragrance. This isn't one of those fragrances that you're going to put on and then you're going to get a whole bunch of compliments. For me, I'm not a heavy sprayer. I put maybe throughout the day, I'll have 5 sprays, but it's spread out. I start the day off with 3. Then when I get to work, I put another one on. And then on my way home, I put another spray on. So I believe that equals up to 5 sprays. So I'm not drowning anybody out. You're going to really have to be upon me or close to me to smell me. And haven't had too many people up on me. So I personally, look at that raccoon, man. Y'all scared of raccoons? Y'all see them? I haven't seen raccoons all summer, all winter. But I see one now. Homie out here, kid. Homie is out here. And we got 2 people on that check-in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if this is something that you guys are into. And what is this? I'm just the average, everyday brother on him way to work, speaking about things that make sense to him and speaking about things that, he's going to be going or I'm going to be going when my child reaches age where they might need some guidance. And this is just something for them to go back on and listen to. Maybe it could help them. Maybe it could help your kids. Maybe it could even help you, my people. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if this is something that you're into, my people, my people. Yes, sir. So yeah, Enigma. Enigma is a great fragrance, man. I like it. It pops off with that heavy like cola type scent that you're gonna get. It's like a luxury cola. And we speaking about Enigma by Roja Perfumes. And it's like a cola type thing. I like the way it smells. It smells very exquisite. This is a fragrance that really is going to last you. Again, I put on those 5 sprays and I smelled it throughout the day. Early in the morning, it was pretty strong, not strong in the sense that it's going to be spreading out to a whole bunch of people. No, it's going to sit a nice little range away from you. You're not going to be yelling. It's a regular talk, a talk like tonight. In an environment like this where it's not too much noise and you speaking, that's the way that the fragrance is going to hit everybody else. I've gotten complaints on it, not complaints, I'm sorry. People who tell me that it smells good, compliments. So you may like it. Now the price point for this perfume, it's expensive, man. It's like $300. And I do the Scentbox, again, the subscription service where they give me 3 different perfumes, 3 travel sizes, and I believe I pay like $70-something for it. And for me, it works. But for that perfume, I don't think that it's a full bottle buy, man. Especially with the price they asking for it, and the fact that I don't think that is something that everybody would like. So again, I don't think I'm gonna buy a full purchase of it. This is a more mature scent, so we speaking about people in their 30s, people maybe 35 and up, around there. This is going to be something, it's not an everyday fragrance, so it's not anything that you're going to be wearing every day. It's like a situational place where you got something important going on, you're going out to like a dinner or something, you may want to throw this on. So again, $300 for something like that. If you have disposable income to be spending, then you may like it. But if you don't, and you a brother like me, just a regular, average, everyday dude, then I wouldn't do it. So we got somebody on the check-in. Somebody said, hey, bro. What do you think about El Chapo? Somebody said, what's up? What do I think about El Chapo? El Chapo. I saw that, what's the name of that Netflix special that spoke about El Chapo? That's what I know about him, a little something. You are the second person to come on. I don't know if you're the same guy who was asking me about the Mexican cartels. I think El Chapo, I don't take drugs. I know people who have. I know people who sold drugs before. And in general, I believe that drugs, listen, I don't think that is a good thing, man, especially in the black community. I seen what drugs can do to the community. You start speaking about violence. It brings a lot of violence. A lot of these cats are out here battling for the corners. And you see a bunch of violence based off of that. Y'all got to realize, man, I'm from New York. So I actually lived through the New York crack era, man, with the crack mothers, the crack babies. Seen it all, my people, seen it all. I seen how those crime rates went crazy because of a lot of the incidents that were happening over drugs. So for me, you ask me about somebody who's a drug dealer, I know everybody got different sides to their personality, and El Chapo is one of those people who helped this community, helped a lot of the poor people in this community, but at the same time, he did cause a lot of harm too. So for me, not rocking with El Chapo. I believe that people do have different sides of them, so I can't say that this man was all bad, but, I don't like what drugs do to communities. Also, I have a cousin whose mother was hooked on drugs, right? Straight up hooked on drugs. And this boy was, basically, he was a miracle because he was a premature baby, born with mental issues based off the fact that his mother was on drugs and couldn't get off of it. And she gave birth to him. She bounced out his life. He's not even a responsibility. And my mother actually adopted him. And obviously that's my mother, and I was staying with my mother. So, in a law sense, he's my brother who's really my cousin. And just the fact that, even me, I've watched him, I've taken care of him, I take him out on a regular basis, and we do things together. And it's based off of the simple fact that you got people selling drugs, and you got a mother who put those drugs above her kids. So when you talk about El Chapo, I would say, again, it's a mixed bag, but in general, I ain't for the drugs, you dig? Somebody else on the check-in said, you sound like American gangster. Somebody said Denzel. Somebody said, have you ever sold drugs? Have I ever sold drugs? I wasn't like again. I got a huge family, my people. Let me acknowledge my people saying I sound like Denzel. You aren't the first person to say that. Everybody always tell me that I sound like Denzel. Do I believe I sound like Denzel? Nah, I don't. But I take it as a compliment because Denzel is straight from New York also, but he from upstate New York. I'm from Long Island. But we all got similar accents. And Denzel is definitely one of the people who mastered his craft. So any comparisons I get to Denzel, thank you, man. Thank you, my brother. I look at that as a great thing. Now, back to the brother who asked me if I sold drugs. It depends. Would you consider weed a drug? I think I would consider weed a drug. It's legal out here in New York, but I did have a lost time in my life where I didn't know who I was. I was out there attempting to be someone that I wasn't, and I called myself a fake-ass weed dealer, man, fake-ass weed dealer. And during that time, I wasn't good at it, man. I was listening to sob stories. I was giving away stuff for free, man. I wound up having to pay the dude back with money from my own pockets, man. So I never read up, never did none of that stuff. And that's all he gave me a little bit, man. I was giving people away like, yo, I'ma have it. People was just taking up my samples, then coming to me with sob stories. Man, I wound up taking money out of my pocket to pay it back. And I was like, man, this thing ain't for me, kid. It definitely ain't for me. So we got somebody else on the check-in. They said, crazy. I watched the series last night. Stacy Griffin said she watched the series last night. Somebody else says, stay safe out there. Thank you. And what series did you watch last night? You speaking about El Chapo? El Chapo? What was that? I forgot the name of that was on Netflix. But yeah, I seen it. But El Chapo was crazy, man. El Chapo had his own jail. Craziness, man. I'll let you know how far money can take you, man. Is money that big, man? Damn, yo. Let me ask the chat, man. What would y'all do and what wouldn't you do for money, man? We had somebody who asked me about that question yesterday. They said, isn't it always about the money? We were speaking about Mayweather and Pacquiao, and I see a lot of people do a lot of stuff for money, man. But is money that important, yo? Is money really, really, really that important, man? I always ask myself. But there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't do for the money, man. A lot of things I would not do for the money, yo. Like, you got to ask yourself, if you have $1 million, or let's say you got 20, 30, $50 million, everything that you want, and you got no loved ones to share it with, you have people in your life who you don't know their intentions, you have people that are attempting to try to take some of the things that you have. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? We got somebody on the check-in, they said, you always about the money. Somebody said, yes, always about the money. Yes, always about the money. Yes, always about the money. I get that, man. I definitely understand, man. Definitely understand. But at the same time, man, you have to always ask yourself, how did you get that money? How did you get that money? For a person who stayed straight on the straight and narrow, a person who didn't have to abuse others to get it, didn't take advantage of others to get it, I believe that it can be very rewarding. But then for other people who stepped on other people's backs, who robbed, stole from people, who lied to get to where they are, I believe that money and that success hold them as basically, it holds them for ransom, basically. It's like it kidnaps them. And now, they spending all their time trying to keep that as opposed to really enjoying it and being a person who can lay with themselves at night. You know what I mean? Being a person that lay with it at night. It's interesting, right? Very, very, very interesting. I look at certain times and culture, and culture. And coming up for me in the hip hop world, man, we was all about authenticity. You ain't want to copy anybody. You would look at the way somebody else did something and you would say, damn, that's hot. They may look nice. They may be doing this and maybe doing that. But at the same time, you ain't want to copy them. You ain't want to do that. You wanted to come up with something that was uniquely you. But I don't know what happened. And I don't know what changed, Like even in the pharmaceutical world, like what is it that you got to get a trademark, right? And you have that for a certain amount of years. And then after that, you get a bunch of greedy people who gonna take something that you created and basically make a slight variation of it and get money off of it, yo. That's crazy to me, kid. That's just crazy to me. And, I wouldn't know if I'd be able to sleep with myself doing that type of stuff, you know? So I think to a certain extent, a lot of people are about that money, yo. A lot of people are about that money, yeah. You'd be amazed at some of the stuff people will do for money. So for the vast majority of people, I think it is about money to a certain extent. But for me, of course, I want to be paid handsomely for what I do. But at the same time, I still got to have some morals about me. Morals about me. Damn, y'all got me going into this. And let me get slightly into what I was going to speak about, and that was about the John Benet Ramsey case. And if anybody followed that, that was from way back in the day. We're talking about 96, 97. She was a little girl who something happened to her in her home. I'm not going to say that on the live stream. I don't want them to cut me. Something crazy happened to her in her home, and they're trying to figure out who did it. Now, there are two primary reasons why, or people who suspects that they believe did it. One, they believe somebody in the family did it. And two, they believe that there was an intruder in that big house that John Ramsey had, the father. And that's the scarier one, that there was somebody in the crib, broke into the crib, was waiting for them to go to sleep, and then did something to that little girl. Another scary suspect is the parents, man, or her brother. Imagine people that you love, or the people that kill you, or I didn't even want to say that, or the people that do something to you and then hide the evidence, you know? For me, I looked at it. Somebody on the check-in said, "Hi, what's up?" Somebody said, "Where are you right now?" "I'm in Long Island right now on my way to work." Somebody said, "I got the hammer, bro. What we doing?" He said he got the hammer. Nah, I'm a non-violent person, man. Non-person. He said he got the hammer. Nah, we chilling. Yeah, so both situations are crazy. Be it somebody that's supposed to protect you and don't protect you. You also have a situation where it could have been an intruder. And where am I with the evidence, man? The evidence could go anywhere, man. There's times where I'm like, damn, yo, somebody in that house did it. And then there's times where I'm like, yo, it's an intruder. So I can only answer it in percentages, man, percentages. I think there's a 60% chance. You ask me how I come up with these percentages, I don't know, man. They just came from my head. I say that there's a 60% chance that somebody up in that house hurt that girl. That would be the mother, who I'm leaning heavily toward, the father, or the little brother. So I would say it's probably like a 60% chance that somebody in the crib did it. And then I would say there's a 40% chance that there was somebody from outside of the home that came in the home and committed that crime against that little girl, man. I know, like, again, we humans, we like to have finite answers, but I can't give you no finite answer, man. I cannot give you a finite answer on this case, man. You know, I don't know. I can't call it. But we getting close to 7-Eleven. Y'all already know that's usually my time to get up out of here. But because I get cut off, the police station is right there. And anytime I get to the police station, all my lives just go. They just be gone. But we'll get into intelligent design. I'm reading a book on the philosophy of science. We'll touch gently on Expelled, that documentary that came out with Ben Stein. This was way, way, way back in the day. And it got me onto one of my, like, damn, yo, it just got me onto like a 20-year search for knowledge. And my 20-year search for knowledge put me straight slap dab in the middle of evolution. And how does evolution stack against intelligent design? Now, evolutionists will tell you that evolution is a blind watchmaker. And what they mean is that it's basically designing us, but in a blind manner, in a manner where it's not going to be perfect. It's just what's going to work for that time. And as the environment switches, those features and and everything that we inherit from our parents may change based on what's beneficial for the environment. But that process right there is blind, and it's not looking for a greater good, or it doesn't have a picture in its mind. All it has and all it's thinking is what provides a greater chance of survival for that moment. Now, intelligent design is a concept where they believe that a God, an intelligent being, a being that can make something from nothing, created all humans in the manner that we see them now. Not just humans, but all life in the manner that we see now. And it was intelligently designed. So we're gonna get into that tomorrow, my people. Definitely gonna get into that tomorrow. That's a great, great, great topic to leave up on. I'm over at this great fine establishment of 7-Eleven. Thank everybody for checking in. El Chapo people, we got the cartels. People asking about the cartels every day. I like them type of questions because they get right into the morals of the things that's going on. I like to thank everybody else for checking in, man. I love y'all. Peace out. Yeah.